though. Good afternoon, everyone. We'll start out with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving on to 3, open forum. This item is intended for citizens to make public comments to the Commission on topics of public interest, which are not on tonight's meeting agenda. Please note that in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Commissioners cannot discuss, deliberate, or make a decision in response to any open forum comments shared. For other comments specific to meeting agenda items, please wait for me to call on speakers prior to Commission discussion of those items. Individuals who have submitted written comments via the website will only have their positions read aloud. All written comments submitted online have been shared with Commissioners and will be made part of the official record. I'd like to remind everyone that all public comments are limited to 3 minutes each. And again, we're not able to interact with you on those public comments. Moving on to the consent agenda, approval of meetings for the Planning and Zoning Commission held on June 9th, 2025.
Did anybody have?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there any open forum? You got me, Michael. Is there any comments that someone would like to make that it's not on the agenda tonight? Sorry about that. Moving on to 4, consent agenda A, approval minutes for the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting held on June 9th, 2025. I entertain a motion when ready.
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say same. Moving on to regular agenda 5A, discuss and consider action on a historical overlay case HO 2025-01 regarding a request to apply historic overlay designation on a parcel of land approximately 0.24 acres in size, more particularly described by the Nacogdoches Central Appraisal District parcel 27682, and is located at 1301 Regay Street, Nacogdoches, Texas.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Commissioners. Juan Paulette, City Planner. So this commercial property is located 1 block north of the Memorial Hospital and served as a dental office for many years. This property is zoned and surrounded by the Medical Zoning District. This is a picture of the original rendering that was designed by Rayford Stripling, and it's a mid-century building that was constructed in 1952. Here's some pictures of the outside of the property. It's the back of the building. Staff sent out 9 notices to property owners within 200 feet of the subject property and have not received any responses in favor or in opposition of the request. Staff believes that this request meets the conditions for designation. The Historic Landmark Preservation Committee met on July 7th, and they voted unanimously to approve the item. Jessica Sowell, the Director of Community Services, here on if the Commission has any questions specific to this item. And I'll be happy, or she'll be happy to answer any questions, or I will after public hearing.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone that the applicant is there anyone that would like to speak on this matter?
Can you speak a little louder?
Yep. Is there anyone that would like to speak on this agenda item? Okay, you can come forward, please.
I'm Dr. Baker, the owner of the property.
Sir, if you can come forward and state your.
Pull it close to you.
If you could state your name and address, please, sir.
Richard L. Baker. I'm at 612 Virginia, over there on the hill. and this is my office. And it came to my attention through SFA, who was studying this architect, that he mainly was a restoration architect. He did La Bahia and Gonzales, a total restoration. He did a lot of work in Washington, D.C. And because of his association with Dr. Good grief, with the doctor that owned the property before me, he built his office because he normally didn't do residences. And so it was a unique building. It's been a doctor's office since 1952. And what we're trying to do is just save the structure. We've completely redone it already inside, but we want to just save the architecture.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this? Okay. We'll close it to public comment and open it up for discussion with the commission. And any questions by anyone? Okay. Entertain a motion when, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Entertain a motion when ready.
I make a motion to approve.
I second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say same. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Baker. Moving on to 5B, public hearing, discuss and consider action on zoning case ZON 2025-09 regarding a zone change from industrial 1 to light industrial, to R4 multifamily district for two parcels of land approximately .64 acres in size, more particularly described by the Nacogdoches Central Appraisal District parcels 215496 and 23218, and generally located west of Bremen Street, approximately 500 feet north of the intersection of West Cox Street and Bremen Street, Nacogdoches, Texas. Mr. City Planner.
Thank you, Chairman. Juan Paulette, City Planner. So the subject properties front Bremen Street are a little over half an acre and are currently vacant. The parcels are directly across from the Union Pacific Rail Yard. The subject properties are located in a transitional area between residential zones and uses to the west and light industrial zones mixed with commercial uses to the east. The subject properties are within the designated FEMA flood zone. All new structures in this area are required to be constructed at least 2 feet above the base flood elevation level. The properties are adjacent to several homes in the outside historical district and near the Virginia Historical District directly to the south, highlighted on the map. The future land use plan designates the subject properties as rural development. This future land use category is described as sparsely populated areas with limited development and also include areas that are gradually transitioning into urban uses and development. While the rezone could align with the transitional intent of that category, its appropriateness depends on whether it's seen as a logical extension of nearby development or an intensity beyond what's envisioned of that area. The picture to the left is the subject property, and on the right, directly across the street, is the Union Pacific Railway. And the picture on the left is adjacent commercial to the north, and the property on the right is adjacent residential to the south, which is historical. This slide shows the types of uses within the 200-foot notification area. Staff sent out 9 public meeting notices to those property owners and 15 notice postcards to property owners within 200 and 500 feet. Staff received a total of 19 response forms regarding this request, 1 in support and 18 in opposition. Of the opposed, 4 responses were submitted by property owners within the required 200-foot notification area. Because opposition within that area exceeds 20% of the land area, the request is now subject to the 20% rule, which requires a supermajority by City Council for approval. Staff coordinated a neighborhood meeting at the C.L. Simon Recreation Area on behalf of the applicant to receive input from surrounding property owners. 28 neighboring residents attended the meeting with concerns of compatibility with the historic character of the neighborhood, flooding, erosion, increased traffic, limited parking, and general safety concerns. The majority of the residents were generally opposed to the request. Staff believes that the key condition in question is compatibility. From a land use perspective, the proposed R4 zoning introduces a residential land use that is transitional and less intense than the existing industrial zoning. However, introducing multifamily housing in a historically sensitive single-family area may not reflect the neighborhood's character. And I'll be happy to answer any questions after the public hearing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Would the applicant like to speak on this? No. If you could state your name and address, please.
My name is Rayshawn Lathan, and I'm at 204 County Road 120.
Speak to you.
Hello,
There we go.
my name is Rayshawn Lathan, and I reside at 204 County Road 120, Nacogdoches, Texas. And I am the applicant for parcel 215496 and 23218. And I'm wanting to change the zoning, so on those two parcels I could build a 4 or 8 unit apartment building, change it from light industrial to multifamily. I believe it's a good property for the inner city of Nacogdoches where people can live and work. They can even walk to some amenities. The farmer's market on Saturday, on the brick road, they have the industrial work area to the right. They have two of the best restaurants in Nacogdoches to the left. Police station, everything is right there where they would they could get to it very easily. And I just thought that I would go through the zoning process to try to get that done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we'll open it up for public comment. We've got a list here. There's quite a few that have registered to speak, so we're just going to go through this list. Mr. Watt, we'll start with you. When you come up, if you would, please state your name and address, please, and limit your time to 3 minutes. Don't mind.
My name is John Watt. I live at 306 Weaver Street here in Nacogdoches. I'm here to speak my opposition to a zoning change here. The people that bought the property knew it was zoned light industrial when they bought it. So now they're seeking a change in that. They still have not said exactly how many units they're planning on building. Anywhere from 6 to 12 is the way I remember it. It's not appropriate for apartments to be here. It's the gateway to a very historic and nice neighborhood, and I don't think it's appropriate for apartments to be there. Not only is it not appropriate, I don't think it's appropriate for children to be living in that location also because of proximity to the railroad track. Are they going to play in the street or on the railroad tracks? Also, that area, as we all have seen, is in the floodplain. Oftentimes, under an inch of rain, that road will become impassable because the water is too high. You add to that the idea of covering the entire 0.65 acres with concrete and roof. None of that water will soak in when it rains. 1 inch of rain over 0.65 acres, that's 17,650 gallons of water that would be pushed into the street, more compounding the flooding issue on Bremont Street. It's also, zoning is set up to protect integrity of neighborhoods. That's what I'm asking you guys to do, is to protect our integrity of our neighborhood. Our house is directly above it on the hill. If they don't do the proper retaining wall, that whole hill could slide down because it's steeply sloped. That's one of my concerns. City Council has said that they want to encourage single-family residents rather than apartments. I'd like for you guys to stay with that idea. I think that many of us here are in opposition to this, and I hope you guys will make the right decision here and say, no, this is not appropriate for this space. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Move on to Ms. Ginger, and please, I hope I don't butcher it. Carrion? Did I say that right? Ginger Carrion, is she here? Do you want to come speak, please?
It's just the same, basically exactly what.
Okay, you don't want to, okay.
Yeah, we
Okay.
just, it's.
If you want to, I'll have to have you come up here if you want to make any comment. Okay, thank you. Ms. Kathy Redmond, who is not here to speak, I don't believe, but at 516 Burke Street, noted she is against this item. Moving on to the next citizen will be Mr. Joshua Weigel. Name and address, please, sir.
Hi, my name is Josh Weigel. I'm at 704 Virginia Avenue, so right around the corner. Thank you guys for doing this. We appreciate this process. I just want to first say I'm supportive of the applicant's desire to develop something. I just want to emphasize that this is not the neighborhood to do what they are hoping to do. So I would second the comments just made. I want to point out, a lot of us have invested in a nearby neighborhood, the historic neighborhood, the Virginia Avenue neighborhood for us in particular. When we moved here 4 years ago, and it was one of the things about this area that made it special to us. And I think if I could say anything, it would be one of the most important things about Nacogdoches is its historic nature. And it's something to not take lightly. So I hope that you would all share that passion. I'm sure you do, but we really feel it's important that we preserve these kinds of neighborhoods in this city and be very, very careful what we allow to encroach on them. I want to point out that just around the corner, there's already some major problems with low-income neighborhoods. And if this structure was to be built, you think about the proximity to the rail, this is most likely just going to attract low-income renters. It's just not it's not the kind of place that you really want to spend a lot of money on your property. So our concern is that's what will happen. We'll just see a continued problem with the low income issues that can develop there. So I want to just emphasize just deep, opposition to this. I think that the area could use something, but I think it's something probably more along the lines of the Muddy Pants studio, something interesting, creative, artistic, but this is, I think, presenting too many issues that are going to degrade the neighborhood. So thank you for letting me speak.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Moving number 4, Robbie Hanson. Would you like to speak?
I don't need to speak because Mr. Wagle said everything for me.
Perfect. Thank you, Ms. Hanson. Ms. Carol Walsh, 416 Bremen is not, you want to speak, that's right.
Yeah, I filled in.
Okay, if you state your name and address.
My name is Carol Eaton Walsh. I live at 416. I have a shop at 404, and I have a cottage that my sister stays in when she's visiting at 400. And my house was built by Dietrich Ruffs. It is the W.H. Reed House. He had a factory there at one time, and he was the first bottler. I think it was Crown Cola at first, and then it became Coca-Cola. But anyway, my house is over 100 and, I don't know. Anyway, it was before 1900, about 1880. And I have lived there for 51 years. The deal is, it is not a good street to live on, but I'm blooming where I'm planted, and I love it. The idea of apartments people who are renting, when it rains and they've got both ends of Bremont blocked, they're not gonna like it. The NISD and the city has cut down some big trees and made a parking lot, and the sound is terrific. Plus, yes, it is, all the people up the hill can hear, hear it, the train better. The traffic has increased because of all the 18-wheelers and stuff to do with the NISD parking lot. And sometimes more plumbing blocks the entire street. But us who live there, we just go around it and we don't get upset. Renters would get upset. And it's just not a good environment for renters, because renters go, I don't have to live here. And these people are lovely people, and I want them to succeed. But the idea of an apartment complex there is scary, because when one zone change occurs, then maybe the second one will occur, and then the third one. And this is the gateway up to the beautiful neighborhood of Virginia Avenue. And I was loving the fact that it was just trees, But there will be erosion, because there already is a slight bit of erosion, because Mr. Lathan cut down trees, and it will get worse. And I just hope you all think about the fact that, I know people need housing, but it's not going to be a good place.
Thank you, Ms. Walsh.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
that.
Thank you.
Moving on to Ms. Anna K. Johnson. Name, same thing, name and address, 3 minutes, please.
My name is Anna K. Johnson, 306 Weaver Street. I want to reiterate just some of the things that have already been said. It is a gateway to a beautiful neighborhood. We used to own a house on Virginia, and now we are the house that's uphill from this property. And we get lots of water that comes from, we're one step down from the next street up, and water just rushes down. And when it rains, we avoid Bremont Street because it floods. It's not safe. I'm worried about children. I know Festival Park is right across the railroad tracks. Would you want your children walking across railroad tracks? The trains are pretty active right there. I know, because I'm often having to reroute myself to get somewhere. So I'm worried about children being there. I'm worried about the low-income housing. We've got some low-income housing surrounding this neighborhood up on Durst, and we do get some, well, we've had a lot of theft at our house. Somebody came in and stole all the meat from our freezer twice. And so we don't want to create an opportunity for more low-income housing in that area. And I don't think it's going to attract high-income people. People are not going to want to live across from a railroad track, across from a vacant field. And the parking lot that they just put in for, I guess it was for the school district, is that not going to create more water runoff into the street? Because they've taken away the soil. So I really think this is not a good way to use that property. I agree that if somebody wanted to put in a coffee shop, it'd be a great place to have a little coffee shop or to have some small light industrial business, but not an apartment complex, not 4 to 8 or 6 to 12, however many people. I'm concerned about my property washing away. I'm concerned about the density increasing. I'm just concerned that the neighborhood is really going to change if you all approve this. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. Mr. Brendan Walsh, who wrote in 400 Bremen Street, voted against this item, as well as next one, Mr. Mike Bay, 403 Weaver Street, voted against this item. Moving on to Mia Carry-On, who wanted to speak on this? No? Okay. They voted against this item. Next one, Miguel Carry-On.
He's working.
Okay.
Miguel,
So,
Mia, and Sarah are all working right now.
okay. voted against this item. Saren Carrion, who wanted to speak, who's not here, also voted against this item. Mr. Ben Oliver, 702 West Cox Street, voted against this item, or is against this item. Mr. Danny Munger, 706 Virginia, is Danny here? Nope. Danny's against this item as well. Caprice Register, 521 Weaver. Would you like to speak, ma'am?
Basically,
Just name, address, and thank you.
my name
He
is,
already went.
my name is Caprice Register. My husband and I live at 521 Weaver. It's on the corner near Nettie Marshall. Traffic is an issue. I can't tell you, I have had 18-wheelers in my yard because they try to make these sharp curves. And traffic is horrendous. Cars don't drive on the right or left side, they drive around that curve however they can get there. It's very dangerous. It would be a very dangerous area for children. However, the concern I wanted to talk about tonight is the historic preservation of this area. Our home is on the overlay, it's on the historic registry. It's a small Victorian home. We bought it, it'll be 3 years in December, but I fell in love with that house when I was 18 in 1971. Took me a while to get there. It needs a lot of work. At this point, I'm not sure I'm prepared to put the work in it to keep the house from sliding down the hill, because it is. Because traffic is bad, foot traffic is bad. I've had my car stolen. We've had people come in daylight and steal off our porch. It's just not a good area, and there's a lot of foot traffic as well as cars, but it just seems as though, as they've stated before, if they were willing or desiring to develop that property as a small business or what it was zoned commercial, light industrial, I think everyone would not have as vocal of opinion, as a negative opinion of this. But it is the gateway to this historic area. As it is, it needs work, and we know that. And hopefully, our neighborhood, we've got a great neighborhood community that will put in that work and work with the city with that. But this is a historic town. I moved here when I was 17, and I never left because I've loved this area. But it's horrible to see some of the things that are being done. I watched the school district cut down a big oak tree this year that was healthy off the property adjacent on Weaver, aside from me. It's across from the school. It was a healthy tree. They cut some trees down that were not. I understood that. And a little later, they put up a sign, a historic, sign about something that had happened there, like around the Indian Wars or something. I'm not sure at this point. I can't remember. But they put the sign up and then they cut the tree down. And it makes no sense to me. That's it. I'd love, these are nice, they seem nice, I love the fact that they want to invest in Nacogdoches. That's not a place for multi-housing apartments. There are so many apartments and homes around town that are vacant right now that are rent signs all over the place. And it's not just because it's summer, because I noticed that stuff, But anyway, that's it for me.
Thank you, Ms. Register. Appreciate that.
Sorry, we oppose it, but,
Yes, ma'am.
all right.
Number 17 is Cherry Baker, who is against 612 Virginia Avenue, who is against this item. And lastly, Jordan Nevadomsky, if I've said that correctly or not, I apologize, 312 Weaver Street, who is also against this item. And that's the list that I have here. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this item? It's not.
Oh, okay, it's after.
Yes.
I don't know if I can speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, please, if you'll come up and just state your name and address, please.
Sure. My name is Christy Lathan, and that's my husband. We reside at 206 County Road 120, Nacogdoches, Texas. I wanted to get up here and just extend my thanks for everyone showing up and expressing their concerns. And I have been listening. And what I can summarize is I'm hearing that there is fear of having new people in that area. And there is fear regarding the historic preservation of the adjacent neighborhood and all the other concerns, including concerns about erosion and flooding. What I would say is right now, as it is zoned for light industrial, whoever decides, and if we were having to go that route and having to develop something there, we would still be faced with the same concerns regarding erosion and protecting, other people's property so that it doesn't erode, especially those who are sitting up on the hill. So those concerns still would exist. Now, for a light industrial, considering a business being built there, who supports businesses? People do. And I have witnessed in our time living here in Nacogdoches, Rayshon was born and raised. I am not. I was lucky to come here as quick as I could. But there have been a lot of businesses that start and they just do not survive. Why? Because they do not have the population that is willing to come and do business there. This area is designed specifically for the community. There are parks that the county, the city has invested in. Why? Because they want people to come and play and they want people to come and do business. So while we might be concerned about who is going to live there and if they can afford to live there, Nacogdoches, Texas, despite being the oldest town in Texas and its unique, historical contributions and so forth, it is very similar to all towns and cities across the country where young people are moving into the city and they are enjoying a very walkable, economic life. They can walk and play and it's good work-life balance. And that's what we're trying to give the city of Nacogdoches. And so I really do appreciate everyone's concerns and we have taken note of that. And if given the opportunity, we will definitely take all of that into concern as we go through the planning process. So it's really a privilege to be able to talk to you all and share what I think, and we really want to do what's best for Nacogdoches going forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Latham. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in open forum? Okay. We will close public comment and open it up for discussion amongst the commissioners.
Historically, I'll start, sorry.
No, please.
Chairman. Historically, Virginia Avenue, there was a reason why all those Victorian homes are built on that hill. It's because lower areas were floodplain areas. And because of construction, even with our homes, the rainfall does seem to be a concern. It's eroding the pavement, it's eroding the areas around it. I personally don't think, if you have a segregated amount of people in one location for an apartment complex, that could present danger for the safety in public. And that's generally, with recent floodings in Texas, not saying that we get that amount of rainfall, it has happened before where that area has flooded, lightly and heavily. So if we look at Pearl Street and you look at the floodplain there, they have built apartment complexes there that have flooded historically and that have caused deaths. I am looking out for the safety and concern for our public. And I know, I really commend you guys. I really do, because I want people to come here and thrive and build things and make it a beautiful city. And I understand the walkability aspect of it. I am a huge proponent for sidewalks, making people, get out, get to know their neighbors. But there are areas where I think is appropriate and areas that are not appropriate. My personal opinion. I don't know if anybody else has anything to say on that.
One out of interest, because I didn't see the historic overlay in our packet. How close does this butt up to the historic overlay that exists?
The Virginia Historic District is just south of it. I'd say it's like a block over.
And I have an historic overlay over my properties, and 400 Bremont is next to their.
The areas in pink on the map are in the outside district.
All three houses.
If you go down Main Street.
I'm familiar with the area. I was the principal of that campus.
Oh.
Yeah, I know it pretty well. I didn't cut down trees, that was me. Yep, Mr. Southwest, I think you came and I read to my kids at one point. So, next question, I have to mirror what my fellow commissioner said about the environmental piece. Have the applicants or the city done any kind of evaluation of that area?
I'm not aware that the city has, I'm not aware, maybe, I'm not sure.
Sorry, I know curveball. I'm sorry about that one.
Evening, Commissioners. Mike New, Executive Director of Development and Infrastructure. At this stage in the development process, the city wouldn't necessarily do something specific to parcels like this that are being requested. This is more of an entitlement stage. But the applicants may have done something. If this were to move forward to development stage, the applicants would be required to meet the standards set out in Chapter 42 of our Code of Ordinances. That's all floodplain management. It would require a special floodplain development permit process and review process by our city engineers. So there is a process to build in the floodplain. Again, Juan had mentioned base flood elevation, but there's other reviews that we go through to ensure that any changes to that property, any changes to land that is developed does not negatively impact the existing floodplain environment.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. May I speak some more?
Go for it.
You know, as applicants coming in to do that, have you guys considered even, you know, the flood insurance costs, because it'll be required for that, which is substantial. And as insurance companies continue, and this is my personal opinion, of course, and reading what's happening in the news, they're insuring people less and less, and their premiums are spiking because of issues with severe weather damage. I know I'm harping on this, but it is something that we really need to take seriously, and as a community, even think about the trees that we're cutting down, because those have long roots. If anybody knows about oak trees, they have long tap roots, and that controls erosion. And so I am passionate about something like this because I want to prevent deaths. I want to prevent buildings from, you know, having any type of damage that our community members have to pay for out of pocket, and risk lives. I mean, those are all valid concerns, I think. On top of that, I think in terms of traffic flow, you know, Bremen Street has that in and out from Virginia and then out towards Main Street. That's a lot of traffic, even for, you know, 6-unit to 8-unit apartment, considering if families live there, the cars that have to park there. And so that's another consideration that we have to actually discuss.
Anything else? Okay, we'll entertain a motion when ready.
I make a motion to disapprove this item.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say same. Okay, thank you.
But do not let this deter you.
No.
I really commend you guys for coming here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Moving on to 5C, public hearing, discuss and consider action on zoning case ZON 2025-10 regarding a zone change from B2 general business to R1 single-family district for one parcel of land approximately 2.49 acres in size, more particularly described by Nacogdoches Central Appraisal District, parcel 23683 and located at 101 South Sanders Street, Nacogdoches, Texas.
Thank you, Chairman. Juan Paulette, City Planner. So this property is located on the southeast corner. So give them a minute.
Yeah.
So this property is located on the southeast corner of West Main Street and South Sanders Street, and is approximately 2.5 acres and developed with a historical single-family home. The subject property is surrounded by commercial and residential zoning districts, but primarily developed with residential land uses. The adjacent properties to the east and west are zoned B2 general business, but are developed with single-family homes. To the south, the property area is zone R1 single family and developed with single family homes. The future land use plan designates the subject property as single family residential. Staff believes that the future land use plan designation of the property is consistent with the proposed zoning and aligns with the existing residential development pattern in the area. This is a picture of the subject property from South Sanders Street. And residential properties to the north and south of the property. This slide shows the types of uses within the 200-foot notification area. Staff sent out 12 public meeting notices to those property owners and 15 notice postcards to property owners within 200 and 500 feet. Staff have not received any responses in favor or in opposition of the request. Staff did coordinate a neighborhood meeting at the Recreation Center on behalf of the applicant to receive input from the surrounding neighbors. And 22 neighbors attended the meeting initially because the notice letter stated the applicant was requesting B2 general business. The applicant later changed their request to R1 single family. Once clarified at the meeting, there was no opposition for the request. And staff believes that this request meets the rules stated in the staff report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions from the commission after the public hearing.
Thank you, sir. Would the applicant like to speak on this one? If you would state your name and address, please. Thank you.
My name is Barbara Stump, and I'm at 101 South Sanders Street. And I'm just trying to get the property together to make sense. And there's no reason for it to be B2. And, you know, my husband and I bought it 10, 15 years ago and just didn't pay any attention to that. I have no intention of putting any apartments on it. So I just would like it to be all in one piece and have it on, you know, residential one. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this? Yep, please come forward.
This one I can talk to. Mr. Z.
Howdy.
I recognized you. I live across the street from the elementary school. My name is Robbie Hansen, and I live at 500 Forbes Street. And I want to thank Mrs. Stump for doing this, for changing this. All of us that came to the meeting, it's true, we were all in agreement that we would love for this to be changed for her. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Okay, we'll close it to public comment and open it up for discussion amongst the commissioners.
I drove by it for a year. It's a beautiful property. So you've done well maintaining it out there. You know. Well, there you go. That's why. I have no questions.
Okay. We'll entertain a motion when ready.
I make a motion that we approve the change from B2 to R1.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say same. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to 5D, discuss and consider action on a special use permit case, SUP 2025-04 regarding distillation of, of liquor, spirits, etc., crafts in a B3 Central Business District for property more particularly described by Nacogdoches Central Appraisal District, parcel 22764, located at 403 and 405 East Hospital Street, Nacogdoches, Texas.
Did they give you a bottle,
I'm
Commissioner?
having a hard time speaking today. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chairman. Juan Paulette, City Planner. So this request is to amend an existing SUP that was approved in May of last year for the operation of a craft distillery located at 403 East Hospital Street. The applicant, Sherry Hatt, is requesting to expand the existing 1,200 square foot distillery with tasting room to the adjacent tenant space located at 405 East Hospital Street. The new tenant space is approximately 1,428 square feet and will be used for additional customer seating and employee work area. Anytime there are changes to an SUP, it has to be approved, and the process is the same as applying for a new specific use permit. So the subject property is zoned B3 Central Business and is surrounded with a mix of commercial uses. The future land use plan designates the area as central city mixed use. This land use category is defined as central core of the city, in and around traditional downtown, where a mix of retail, office, residential, and public uses are permitted and encouraged, subject to development and compatibility standards. Staff believes that this request is considered to be in accordance with the goals and policies of the comprehensive plan. The applicant is proposing to change the previously approved hours of operation on Friday and Saturday from 11 a.m. To 10 p.m., and with the remaining days of the week staying the same, and adding indoor music stage for live low-volume acoustical performances. And this is a picture of the outside of the property. You can see the property to the adjacent tenant space to the east, which used to be the Rusty Spur, will be the space that they'll be moving into. And this slide shows the types of uses within 200-foot notification area. Staff mailed out 36 public meeting notice letters to those property owners and 12 postcards to property owners within 200 and 500 feet, and have not received any letters in opposition or in favor of the request. Staff coordinated a neighborhood meeting at the City Council chambers on behalf of the applicant, and none of the neighboring property owners attended the meeting. And staff believes that this request meets the conditions for approval with the following previously mentioned conditions. And I'll be happy to answer any questions after the public hearing.
Okay, thank you, sir. Would Ms. Hatt like to speak?
Do I like to speak? Sherry Hatt with Mad Hatter Distillery at 403 East Hospital Street. When I came before y'all last year, you didn't know that the day that I signed the lease, we had already outgrown the space before we even moved in. So we were in really big hopes that we would at least be able to expand our tasting room, and as luck would have it, the Rusty Spur will be moving out. So we are gonna actually just be cutting holes in the wall that were previously existing. They, when the Rusty Spur closed their boutique down, they closed the walls off. So there's already spaces where there was existing openings to Suite 405. We'll be closing off a wall in the back side, about the back third of the space.